Before I can take these new storage units up into the closet, I need to remove all the old junk that's in that closet. First thing I need to do is take these doors off. I may need to get new hardware for them too. This one rolls really nicely, but this one kind of sticky. Getting these doors out is really weird. You have to first loosen these pieces. I forgot about that. And then you can tip it way back. There we go. That was my old closet organizer there. Basically just a little one for shoes to sit on. That was no frills. And this little shelf here, this all came with the house. I think this is original 1955 construction. I thought you might find this a little bit interesting the way this was constructed. So you can see here where there's actually a nail that's coming out. They didn't do it right because they tried to nail from this top of this cabinet into the edge of that board. And then this whole piece here is also hanging the same way. They've got it screwed into the walls over here and then screwed here, and I don't know if it's attached up in there or not yet, but it's going to be kind of tricky getting that out of there. So here's the weird thing about these closets. It's got all plywood construction here. This is basically just a box. It's even elevated off the floor a little bit, and this is probably maybe 1/4 inch plywood on the bottom because it flexes really easy. I don't want to stand in there. So on the other side of this wall is the closet in the other room. That's the craft room now, where I think I showed you we have all the yarn and stuff in that organizer. This back wall here is actually the wall of that guest room or the craft room now. And all of these walls are also just feels like 1/4 inch plywood. So to give that a little context, there's that closet. And then you come over to this room, that's the wall on this side. This has those same cabinets up above. And then we've got, well, my wife has all of this yarn down here in this closet. We just took the doors off completely on this. It's the craft room. This is just kind of an open alcove here now. And once I got all of that cleared out, I spent an hour or so painting the inside of that closet. But I didn't show that on video because, as we've learned, painting is boring. But it didn't take long for me to paint that closet. I mean, I have experience because I've painted every single wall in this house multiple times in many different colors. None of that was on video. I even painted the kitchen cabinets. I've mentioned this before, but one of the things I really enjoy doing is watching new YouTube channels or somebody who has a really cool YouTube channel that just doesn't seem to have the exposure that I think it needs. And you'll remember a couple of months ago, I asked you to list some of your favorite channels that seem to just be under the radar. So what I want to do is from time to time give you some channel recommendations. So for today's CHANREC, that's what all the cool kids call channel recommendation. No cool kid says that. You can use it if you like. This is this Italian channel. It's all done visually, so if you don't speak Italian, it's okay. And oh my God, I just love this channel. It's Moro il Tornatore. That's Moro the Turner. I am enthralled watching him make these toys. They're more than toys. They're little figurines with so much detail and character and personality and all the little accessories that go with them. It's just beautiful, stunning work. Check him out. I'll have a link up here and I'll put it down in the description, and give him a thumbs up while you're over there. I don't know if you remember, but in the last closet organizer video, I made a story stick. In other words, just a board that was the same width as the closet so that I could take it out to the shop and make sure that I get accurate measurements. And I just kept cutting down a single board until it fit perfectly, until somebody in the comments said, "Steve, you're a dope. Stop doing that." He didn't say dope, but he told me what you need to do is just get 2 sticks like this, and then I can spread that out, clamp them together. Now I know exactly the width of that closet. And I can also tell that the back of this closet is narrower than the front. So when I make this base, I'll just base it off of the backside measurement. Nothing better than a good backside measurement. So the next important measurement was this one. This was the height of the closet. Remember, the closet kind of sits up on a little bit of a pedestal. So what I need to do here is measure this alongside and then figure out how tall the base should be. So in my plans, I figured it would be 3 inches, and here I can tell that this is actually a little bit more than that. So I could make the base like 3 1/4 inches, but I think I'll just still stick with the 3 inches. Remember, I'm gonna have a face frame on this, and the face frame can butt up to the ceiling. So I'll just rip this plywood down into 3-inch wide strips, and then cross cut all 5 pieces to size. I'll assemble the base using pocket screws. So that's all there is to the base, and I'm gonna go test it now, try it out, see if it fits. You know what I'm trying to say, right? My grandpa used to say, if all goes according to plan and the creeks don't rise. I don't even know what that means. Perfect. I only need to paint this front side of this base. It's got some visible screws on it that, you know, I could fill that with spackle or wood putty, but I'm not gonna bother. You're not gonna see that when this is installed. But if there was a sticker on there, you know I would remove it. In my other closet organizer, the full width closet, it made a lot more sense, and it was actually cheaper to buy an expanding closet rod rather than just use a dowel. But in this closet, I only need 36-inch bar, and I went and bought this one, but this is a different type. I didn't realize this is one of those pressure fit ones. It's got these rubber feet on it, and you just kind of press it against the sides. And I really am not a fan of that kind. I think that eventually these rubber feet kind of lose their grip. So I thought about maybe cutting this down. I only need about this much more to extend out. And if I'm gonna do that and have this weird ridge here and a little button that sticks up, it just makes as much sense to use a dowel. So this would go into a couple of holes that I would drill on the 2 sides, but then the more I got to thinking about that, one of those holes needs to be a drop-in hole or I'll never get this in there. So it all came down to these. These are the holders that were originally in that closet. So I think I'm just gonna reuse those. The only thing is they look like they might be the wrong size for this bar. Maybe not, I don't know. There's a lot of play in there, but this is gonna be a lot easier to use than any other system. But this rod is showing some age after 60 years, so I want to sand this down and make it smooth. It's one of the reasons I like the metal bars is that the hangers slide on them really easily. But I think if I strip all this down and then just wax it really well, that might help. I don't want to use my random orbit sander on this because that might get it out of round. Oh, grow up. How about a Shoeshine Box update?
I read the comments, I saw there were some questions out there, so I want to talk about the things I love about this box and the things I don't like and I think we can improve. As you can see, I've already bought this box from American Shine Company, and I didn't want to steal their design, but I did want to make something for myself, something I could pass on to my son, or maybe I could share with my audience and they could go out there and build something themselves. Now, overall, I love the look and the feel. This is a very sturdy box, well made. Up here at the top, this is where you put your shoe and you can give a quick shine. This this way. Basically right here, these metal bars allow the cloth to go over and through it, and what happens is you can give a very quick shine if you've only got a couple minutes. It's a well-constructed box, but I do feel it's too small. So when I do check the inside measurements, we've got 10 inches in length, we have 7 inches in width, and I've got about 7.5 inches in height. And again, that's the inside dimensions. And the issue with that is I find it's just unorganized. It's not big enough for most of my items. As you can see, I can't even shut the box if I were to actually have one of the cans standing up straight. So I do think it could be a little bit larger. In addition, I would love to be able to see some inside organization. The other issue I've got with this box right here, notice these holes on the side. Again, design purpose, I get why it's there so you can easily lift this up, but for me, I just grab it by these metal things all the time, and to be honest, if I were to drop this over, or as you see, lift it up in a way and I'm not putting my hand to keep things in there, things can fall right out. So my question for you, Steve, is can we design a box that can improve upon this design? One that I can share with my audience, a box that I can make myself with my limited tools and knowledge.
Antonio, that answers so many questions I had. At least now I understand what those two metal pieces are for, and I'd suggested maybe making those out of wood, but somebody in the comments said you probably don't want to do that because they're just all going to get stained that way, and that's probably why they're metal, plus the cloth will slide easier. So I had an idea about those. We can still include those, and I think we can use drawer pulls. They have special, all different kinds of drawer pulls, and I've seen some that look kind of like that. So I'll search around and see what I can find online for those. One thing you'll notice about that box is that the grain continues from the body of the box up through the lid. And that's exactly the way I was thinking about constructing this, would be to make a fully enclosed box top and bottom, and then you just cut the lid off. That would mean a very wide board, and wide boards, especially on hardwoods, are not always easy to come by. And if you do find them, they're often warped or twisted. So what we're gonna need to do is edge join boards together. And that's a real common thing, and it will be great for you to learn how to do that. I won't ask you for a biscuit joiner. Anyways, I'm gonna start designing something, and then we'll keep this ball rolling forward. Here I can really see where this plywood base is sagging, so I'm going to try to draw that up. I've drilled some pocket holes here, and I'll see if I can just pull that together. Did you notice how I made half of the pocket holes going this way? Hey, you never know if you might want to, mount it on the ceiling. Okay, let's hope the creaks don't rise. Kind of think I should have put this one in first. Oh. I think the creaks are rising. Take the base out, lift this up, see if I can slide the base under. Creaks definitely rose. So here's what I did is I cut this half down, and if this works, I'll put those corner pieces back in. But for now, I want to see if I can slide this under there. And then maybe I'll just make this base out of 2 pieces. Of course, the obvious solution here is to just not use that base at all. I don't even need it because this thing has its own kind of toe kick built into it, but I guess I'm just being stubborn because I designed it this way and it should fit, and that would eliminate the gap at the top. I'm gonna keep trying. That still fits. Uh-oh, I have a bad feeling about this. It's this trim over here that sticks out. I didn't account for that, trying to get this in. Okay, I think that works. So what I gotta do is just try to get that back out of there and then rebuild that base. I actually do like having that base down there. I think it just kind of completes it to have it raised up a little bit. So it's just gonna be a tight fit. Okay, I think I've done enough damage here for one day. I'm gonna take all of that out. I'll cut it down, kind of rebuild that base in 2 pieces, and then hopefully If all goes according to plan and the creeks don't rise, I'll be able to get it back in there tomorrow. But you'll have to tune in to find out. This is like the greatest cliffhanger in all of history, isn't it? I'll see you guys later.